described Sanderlings as running with a twinkle of black feet. Carson depicted Sanderlings foraging along the beach as keeping in the thin film at the edge of the ebbing surf. Described Sanderlings of blown as running or sea froth, twinkle of rolled like.
All right.
Carson depicted Sanderlings foraging. Sanderlings also winter in the Hawaiian Islands. Thin film. In the native language, they are known as hunakai, or sea foam, an apt description of the sandpiper's pale winter plumage and their nimble dance with the waves. In the warmer months, Sanderlings nest in the extreme north, most north of the Arctic Circle, in remote sites in Canada, Greenland, and Siberia. In winter, however, they spread out as far as any bird in the world. Their silvery flocks are sprinkled along beaches throughout the temperate and tropic zones, on 6 of the 7 continents. For BirdNote, I'm Mary McCann.
All right. And we learned all about those birds this morning. And in studio, we have now Prometheus Glover live from his dojo in Point Arena, Far West Martial Arts. Welcome, Pro.
Hello, Seve. Thank you for having me. It's so nice to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited. It's good to see you again. It's been a minute.
It's
And
been a
it's been a minute. You know, it's so funny. Point Arena is what, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes away, but it feels like a whole state away sometimes.
yeah, absolutely. We up here consider Gualala a foreign country.
Right. Well,
It's
hopefully this weekend, all of us on this side, south of Point Arena, will not have that feeling because there's a really great event that we're going to talk about at the Point Arena Theater, and that is the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competition. First of all, introduce yourself to our listeners that might not be familiar with you and the dojo, and tell us, when it started, what you do there, and what brought you to create this event here, which might even be on television down in Brazil, from what I understand.
yeah. Wow, that's there's a lot to discuss. Yeah, I am Prometheus Glover. I own and operate the dojo here at the Cove in Point Arena. We teach and offer lots of different types of classes, but mainly Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for kids from ages 5 through on through adults. And yes, we have kickboxing and boxing and a pro MMA program as well as some strength and conditioning courses. We have a kettlebell program that's been real popular. And we also have a fantastic personal trainer, Dupree Fransman, who's been just excelling, and her programs have been really really developing. Yeah, she's got a great following.
Awesome. I love Dupree.
Yeah, it's right. We love Dupree too. It's so cool. She really found her niche. She reminded me the other day that the first time she ever picked up anything heavy was at one of our classes 10 years ago.
Wow.
And that was the moment where she felt for the first time something that she was really drawn to, and professionally, and she pursued a career, and she came back she came home. She came back and asked if she could start a program here, and we were super honored, and it's just been a blessing. She's just amazing. Everybody's really enjoying working with her and seeing a lot of fantastic results. People's reaching their personal goals, and it's been really amazing.
That's awesome. So you've been doing this, has it been 10 years now, Pro?
Been 10 years. It was 10 years ago exactly that Carlson Gracie first promoted me, gave me my blue belt 10 years ago in Point Arena. And we were up and running, and we had programs going before that under Master Russ. And But since that day, we committed to, began our kids program and our strength and conditioning program, and we had Silas King running our kettlebell and our strength and conditioning back then, and it's just been,
Wow.
it's
Is
been,
that when we did the kickboxing upstairs from?
yeah, back back in the day.
Dude, that was brutal. I remember sleeping in my car after working out with you guys one day because I had to go waitress that night and I couldn't walk. I couldn't move after my shift. It was literally, I was like, might want to rethink kickboxing and working in the same day.
It's a good sore. It's a good sore. It's keeping us moving, keeping us young
Yeah.
ish. Yeah.
So now you're located down by the pier.
Yeah. We're down at the pier now. Um, we're in the big building, the old Chowder House building. We're at the east end downstairs, so opposite end of the building from the pizza
Ah,
place.
that's where I used to have the boutique, right?
That was you. I'm in your old shop,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I kind of didn't think about that.
Mm.
You and Autumn had the greatest place down here.
Yeah, it's where I met your Gracie girl and used to style her out.
That's right. That's right. Oh, Poppy would go to that
Oh,
store now.
right. From fashion to fighting, that's fabulous. So tell us a little bit, but what I love about what you're doing, it brings a lot of discipline and structure to these kiddos. Talk a little bit about, your programs that you've been having there and what you've seen as a result, because it's been 10 years with a lot of these kids.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And just to put Eddie on blast here, because this has come full circle. Eddie is in the main event. Eddie Davila,
Wow.
from here. He's going to be fighting with three other guys. It's a four-man, not all at once. It's a four-man Grand Prix setup. So the day of the fight, we'll all together, the coaches and these four guys, we will roll dice and determine their first matches, and so it'll be luck of the draw, and those two matches will determine the finalists, and the winners of those two matches will compete against each other for a winner takes all cash prize, and this is the first of its kind, definitely first here, and we're really excited about it, and looking forward to the future and being able to do more of these events.
Wow. And
So,
Eddie started training with you. How old was he?
so that's the thing is Eddie, Eddie Black and I, other Eddie,
Mhm.
we've always called Eddie Davila Little Eddie, even though he's bigger than us. But Eddie Black and I had been training under Master Russ, and we had, more or less of a, people called it kind of a fight club, which it was way more disciplined than that. We trained on Tuesday and sparred on Thursday, and if you didn't train on Tuesday, you didn't get to spar on Thursday. And so that had been going on since the beginning of time, and there's a lot of people that participate in that program over the years, probably a lot of our listeners even. But in those days, about 12, 13 years ago, Eddie and I were first given the keys to Uriah's place upstairs, and we kind of kept the Tuesday, Thursday going. And we kept talking about starting a kids program or starting an official program. And we'd see one after another generation of the youth kind of come up on the street. We'd see them out the wind from the dojo, and they'd grow up and move on, and we'd miss them. And then Eddie was one of those young men, and he wasn't the most pleasant guy back in the day, and you wouldn't know that by hanging out with him today. He was a punk, he caused a lot of problems for a lot of people. He really liked to fight, and he would get somebody to buy him beer, and and get drunk and wait outside of the bar, just like wait for somebody to come out to start a fight with, grown men.
And he was a teenager.
He was a teenager. He was in high school. He would do that just because he didn't know. It was just who he was, and he'd be hauled over the hill and one time, over and over. And one day he walked up the stairs to the dojo at Uriah's and said, "Hey, can I train?" And we said, "Of course." And he has never drank a drop of alcohol since that day.
Wow.
He is become a professional MMA fighter. He's had some great accomplishments. He competes all the time. He's won some really, really high level tournaments in jiu-jitsu and fought many times in MMA in the cage, and all the way up to fighting on UFC Fight Pass. And we get offers for him often for some very, 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 very good matches. And he was able to live out his I don't know if it was his dream or not, but definitely just something that was part of his DNA. He's a hardworking guy that really needs to he likes to challenge himself and does it for no other reason. He's not a mean guy. He's not interested in causing any problems with anybody. And this is the same with all these fighters. They're there. They have something inside of them that they need to test, and they're different than the rest of us. They do this because they have to, and so being able to provide opportunity is I think is pretty special.
That's awesome. And he's so reserved and
not
a troublemaker at all anymore. Yeah.
Nicest guy in the world. And that's the same with all these guys. Once they get to this level, that's the, really, whether you seek it intentionally or not, humility is really the number one attainment that, you can hope to achieve in life anyways, but with training in martial arts, that is the goal, intentionally or not. And it's products, it's the outcome that you receive with hours and hours and hours, a lifetime of dedication.
Yeah, and the discipline, and it's almost like there's a spirituality to it as well.
For sure.
Yeah. And then tell us a little bit about the kid programs. When do you hold those? Because I know my Melanie, she's 17 now, my stepdaughter, and she's always been wanting to get in, and her dad's super afraid because she's a tough little cookie. And he's like, I don't want her to know how to fight. Then we're in trouble. I was like, no, it's opposite that. Soon as you learn, it's discipline and reserve. And so talk a little bit about the kid programs, what you think it instills and helps these kids with, because parents get a lot on their plate right now. And so this is, instead of babysitting with the phones or television, it's a great alternative.
Absolutely. The screen's not allowed in the dojo, so I will confiscate them if they come out, and the kids know that by now. I mean, I've been able to operate outside of the rules of the school, and with parents' blessing, can be a little bit more strict about stuff like that, things that they might struggle with enforcing at home. But here it's just without question. There's no screen time, and the lessons they learn start like just by signing up and bringing themselves here. And I really think it just every step of the way, by removing your shoes and placing them neatly side by side at the edge of the mat and bowing into the dojo, it really starts to create some intent and focus and respect. And I hear back from parents, and I witnessed myself when visiting with the kids. They're doing this at home. They're walking into their house feeling like they're entering into a sacred space, and showing a little more respect, for their room, the kitchen, their clothes aren't on the floor. And so I think, not, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like, we're not perfect, monk mentality, but there's some of this is starting to like sink in. And so it's really neat in the way they treat each other outside of on the playground and at school. They're benefiting a lot. They're bringing a lot on with them outside of when they leave these doors. And so that's really neat. And we have kids who have been training. Started training when they were 5 years old, and are now 11, 12, 13. And so it's pretty neat to see them still here, still doing it. And they get mad at me, like, if school's out, we pause our program because notoriously the kids wouldn't show up. Our scheduling is based.
Yeah.
We're after school program. You after school come straight down to the gym. And so a couple of kids were this last week, we took a week off, and they were upset. They were mad at me. They said it's just not fair that we're not having class this week. I was like, well,
that's huge.
We consider our protocol.
Yeah. And then, so when do you have classes there? And if somebody was a beginner, even my age, could they just come down and talk to you? And is there a place for people that never fought before?
Yeah, for sure. So it's traditionally the way these have been taught in Brazil, and the way we've been taught and the way we follow. It's jiu-jitsu for everybody. That's one of the terms that you will hear often. It was coined a long time ago by our master Carlson Gracie, but jiu-jitsu for everybody, and we teach it's all levels all together on the mats at the same time.
For people that don't know what jiu-jitsu is, can you talk about it before we get into this? Because even myself, like, martial arts, there's kung fu, there's all different varieties. What sets Brazilian jiu-jitsu apart?
Okay, so Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, first of all, is by with no question the number one martial art for training for self-defense. By far, it's designed to take a bad situation and benefit from it. We do a lot of fighting off our back. So, for example, if you were in a situation where we were mugged or jumped or something like this, and end up in that situation, our system turns that into a benefit to us. And so it's, as a sport, it's submission grappling. And you start standing up, but there's going to be takedowns, and it's going to end up on the floor. And from there, we find ways to manipulate the joints. It's all joint locks and chokes. So this is the science of using leverage and position to put pressure on the joint in an unnatural direction, the way it isn't intended to go. Like if for an arm bar, for example, we're going to bend, we're going to brace above the elbow and apply pressure to the wrist and put a strain on the joint in the opposite direction that it's intended to bend. And and so
it's more for self-defense. That's great to know, because a lot of people like myself, I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Of course.
To have those skills, and I was taught some when I was younger, and I still know those quick moves to get out, but this takes it further, so you can get out of almost any situation if you're surprised or taken it by attack.
Absolutely. It's I think the world's a better place if everybody trains. First of all, you'd be able to defend yourself if you ever had to, but it's just less likely to happen the more people who train. It gets, somebody with that intent and that kind of that energy, it's going to get worked out on the mats, and they're going to leave here, knowing that that's going to be exercised from them, Um,
Literally
anyway,
exercise.
literally. And there's so many humbling moments, like uh the girls, and especially in our kids class, the adults as well, but the girls learn so much faster. uh this it's just a reality of the brain, the biology of the brain. We are not men. I learned this like scientifically, from the neurology department at Oakland Children's Hospital, going through just study of trying to understand Gracie.
Yeah.
And we learned that her corpus callosum had not developed fully. So it's partially developed. And corpus callosum, the center of the brain that connects the right and left hemisphere. And so during all that learning, it was explained to us that women have a much larger corpus callosum, but just biologically, a female is born with a larger corpus callosum than and a man is. It's very small, very narrow. And what that means is capacity for multitasking is much greater with a female brain than a male brain. And it's so evident in just reality. You see it all the time. I mean, I think anybody here could testify, over and over, there's many situations where that's been witnessed. But I think, it might have even been intentionally. It might be a key to our survival,
Right.
that we needed a
We gotta
partner.
cook, we gotta clean, we gotta have kids.
We need all these things need to happen to survive. And it's very hard to do it all. It's very hard to do it well with, I mean, of course we can all do the laundry, we can all, make dinner, we can all go out and, make a fire. We should all be able to, do all these things, but to do them efficiently in the time, in those few hours of daylight before it's cold. And, like somebody needs to go out there and just have a kind of a simple mind and find some sort of food, and not be distracted by so I think I don't want to like get too far off, but it's interesting. The point is,
Here at the school, you see the women or the kids, the girls pick it up quicker than the boys.
So much quicker because it's very detail oriented. Like, I'm slow. It's taken me forever to learn the things I've learned. I have to practice the lessons I learned the first day of jiu-jitsu. I still train today.
Wow.
But I see the youth in general are much quicker, but the girls especially, because it's so detailed. There's tiny micro adjustments, all these little factors that have to be correct in order for it to work. Because otherwise a person can just be out, just use strength and muscle out of the situation. But if all the factors are there, a smaller person can beat a bigger person every time, if it's right. And so that's what we see with the girls. The girls just learn so much faster. And the greatest thing about that is every time we've had a kind of a bully type show up, we've every single time, which has not failed yet today. They've trained for a little while, started to learn some things. They've had the talks about how, when and where this is appropriate. And if we hear you're causing problems at school, typically I get called at the same time, or sometimes before even the parents get called. I get a call and say, "Hey, is this one of yours?"
Wow.
And and if you're out causing problems, your privileges at the dojo have been paused. You're not allowed to train here. We're not training people to go out and be causing problems for other people. So if we have that, it gets dealt with that way. But sooner or later on the mats, because we spar even at age 5, I have the tiny little person, usually a young lady, just humbling these boys, and time and time again, and it's amazing. You know, I see it over and over and over, and it does two things. Yeah, it's a humbling experience for this guy, and it's an empowering experience for this young lady. And so that's like the duality of that, the benefit. It's just it keeps us going. It's why we're here. It's
Right.
the reason we're here, you know. And and
And when are you there? So talk a little bit about the
are we here?
classes. Yeah.
So for kids, we do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right after school. Monday and Friday, it's 3:30. So just hustle down after school. The kids get out at 3:15, and we get right to work. On Wednesday, we start at 2 o'clock with a new course that we just started. That is a 4 to 7 year old group,
Wow.
and it's our little Bulldogs class. We hadn't been teaching that age group. We started with it all mixed together back in the day, and it was very hard to keep up with just those few of founding students who started at 5 and are still with us today. But up until this fall, we had been doing 7 and up, 8 and up, and there was just such a need for a group for these guys, for the younger kids. So we run that Wednesday at 2 p.m. 2 to 3, and it's fantastic. It's a great room full of just amazing young people. It's a ton of fun. It's a whole different kind of challenge, you know, as far as the curriculum, and it's just been. We started it as a test and did a 6-week course, and every one of them wanted to continue and stay and have it be regular, and so we agreed to do it, and here we are, you know, a few months in, and the kids are amazing. They're learning so much so fast. It's just really, really a cool thing. And so after that class, then we do our big kids.
Okay.
So they come in at 3 and they run 3 to 4, and that's Wednesdays. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, kids programs happening. After the kids programs are wrapped up, then we get into our kettlebell and strength and conditioning and kickboxing, jiu-jitsu.
And that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday as well in the evenings.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the evenings, and 9 a.m. Sunday morning. So where our goal was to create an every other day-ish flow. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday morning, and then back to Monday night.
Very cool. And then some of your kids, like the girls, is she fighting this?
She is.
Wow. Talk a little bit about, I saw her poster on your Facebook feed and I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. She's in. She's doing it.
She started young with you, right?
She did. She started, let's see, she just turned 21. I think she was 15, maybe, when she's somewhere in there. And she's doing great. She's super nervous, not because of the match at all. She's super nervous about being on stage in front of people. And I think there's going to be a big rowdy crowd that sound not rowdy, but like, you know, rowdy. And
cheering them on. And
it'll be a ton of fun, and she is so nervous about that. I'm like, I hope it sells out and we have a nice full crowd and have a ton of fun. And she's like, I hope nobody shows up. You know?
Yeah, but once they're up on the stage and all those lights, you know, you're in your zone, they'll be fine. I get it. Yeah. So too funny. And then Miss Sarah Beth is going to be one of your female contenders too. Talk a little bit about Sarah. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's a special woman. And she's really, really great everywhere, on and off the mats. She's an amazing Thai massage therapist. She's incredible, like really, really good. She travels for that. And so she's over on the coast half the week, seeing her clients here, and trains with us when she's on the coast. And the other half of the week in Kaya, training with some friends of ours out there at Mendo Training Center. and so she's represents two teams, and she's she's really really a staple part of both. She helps teach the kids class in Ukiah, which is a big thing. We joke about it, but the jiu-jitsu players that don't teach kids class don't quite understand. The ones that do, we have, we joke that we learn more in kids class, but we really do learn more. Like our program, our system, our style, our game develops so much by teaching kids class. It's ridiculous,
Yeah, it ignites another part of the brain when you have to teach. You're teaching yourself, but from your expertise and your actual physical involvement.
Yeah.
Work it all out. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it has to be perfect. I mean, we're teaching them, but they believe us, they're learning from us. So we have to really like dive deep and get it right,
Right. And I was shocked because Sarah Beth came to my house for Christmas Eve this year, and I hadn't met her much before that. And we were talking. She's the cutest little thing, like petite Jack. And we were talking. She's like, "Oh yeah, I trained in opera." I was like, "Well," and then she's like, "And I'm an MMA fighter." I was like, "What?" It just blew me away. I was like, "How?" So it completely changed my perspective of the, just how it's not like these big bulky, boxers like we used to see growing up at the beginning of the matches for the females. Like she is very feminine and, graceful and bad. I can't say the word on air, but she's a tough mama.
Yeah, she is so tough. She's so tough. She's so tough. And, she's a ballerina, opera singer, massage therapist. She's like very balanced, but she is so tough that I think we've seen she performed opera at Dragon's Breath,
Wild, right? Yeah.
So
Yeah, she sang at my birthday too. I was like,
yeah. But she's so tough and she travels so much and she doesn't like to, miss a day of training. So if she's on the road somewhere, she'll look up a local academy and drop in and train. And so she's gotten to know, and she's gotten to know people all over the place. And so when I was trying to find a match for her for this competition Saturday, nobody would take the call. There was like all these women that she's met along the way, they're friends and everything, but they're like, no way, I don't want to fight Sarah. She's too tough. And it was really difficult. And
well, because you have to go according to weight and all those things too. It can't just be any woman. It has to be somebody comparable in your league.
Yeah, same weight, same skill level. Typically in competition, we go same age. With this one, there's a little bit of fluctuation there. We're trying not to have it be lopsided, but if somebody has a little more experience, they could maybe go with somebody a little bit younger that might have that youth edge, and that'll be an interesting, outcome to see how that plays out.
Awesome.
But Sarah has found this gal. She actually contacted us. We have a fighter application on the Instagram page, and she filled that out. I did not know her ahead of time. She might be the only competitor actually that I am not, do not know, have some type of relationship with, or haven't seen them compete. Right. And she's out of Salinas.
Oh, Belinas.
Salinas.
Oh, Salinas. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she got wind of our event and went and filled out an application, and I just couldn't believe it when it got forwarded to me. And I was like, "Are you kidding? This is a perfect match for Sharky."
Perfect.
Yeah, and
and then Sarah, I know Sarah's nickname Sharky. We were laughing. We were together. We're like, we need to have like a heavy metal version of that. Sharky, shark, dun 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 dun. For the Baby Shark. Everybody needs their song coming out.
Yeah. speaking of song, we got the music for the event's going to be amazing too. So, Selector Science is here
Oh, Ian, yay.
with Del and G and JMO. So Tropicali crew, full effect.
So it's all local. That's wonderful. And
Yeah.
let's talk about a few more of your fighters that are in it. That way nobody feels left out. And then we'll get into the event because it's not like a normal MMA event. This is like Point Arena style.
It's going to be a great family event. It really is. It really is. So there's people from, we talked about Cinnamon and we talked about Sarah Beth and we talked about Eddie. Those are our adults that are competing. I have two others that just recently. Well, I'm just going to go get into it. So just recently was able to find a match for our good friend Bart, who just moved to the area, and he walked in the door and maybe it's been 5 months, I would guess. I'd have to look at the records, but he trained previously. He'd been training, his life, and his parents live out here, and he moved out here to be with his parents. And he's a great guy, works at Surf Super.
Awesome.
And he came in and he just had fit in immediately day one, just been, just part of the family, And when I announced to our class that we were going to have this event, he was the first one to say, I want to compete. And so I've been struggling to find an even match for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't even confirmed. Well, I have confirmed it with him, but I haven't had a chance to really sit down with him, which I will tonight, and go over the kind of details of it. But Bart has a match.
Oh, great.
Super psyched about that. And really looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. He's a great training partner. He's really strong. He's given our higher belts a lot of hard rounds. So he's just been an asset to the team. He's awesome. And then we have a group of guys that come down from Fort Bragg and Mendocino.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been training for a long time. These guys are very high level. They train with up at the Grapplers Retreat in Mendocino, which used to be a regular, an academy with a regular schedule. But they've transitioned into retreats, and they do amazing. They give all the best guys in the world come, and they host these. Yeah. It's I think I don't think about it with us just because it's our teammates and our friends. We also have all the best guys in the world that just come.
I remember being in Point Arena one year, and I'm looking around. I was like, "Who are these handsome guys?" They were all like these Brazilians walking through the street. I was like, "What's going on?" Back when I was single.
Well, they're all coming this weekend. It's going to be a summit. There's so many details to talk about. Like, I want to get into that too, but Grapplers Retreat Mendocino's amazing. They just took a business model of focusing on like vacation retreats for people coming from out of the area to come and make this special experience. Come and train out in our beautiful.
Yeah, it's magical here. That's awesome.
Yeah, and so they do that, and so they're his regular, the locals that would train with him regularly. I started coming down here a few days a week, and they also have been an amazing addition to the team. Some just incredible people. Everybody's just clicking. Really, they're coming in with really good jiu-jitsu. And one of them, Paulo Andrade, he is Coast Guard for our Mendocino Coast.
Oh, cool!
And just a great guy. He has a match with another friend of mine, Sam Hahn, who is the creator of Rollbot, and this is a new company. You could, the word is out, the product's out, but they're in this process of scaling up. And it's a grappling robot. It's a robot he builds them by hand in his shop himself, one man show, and they're incredible. There's nothing like it. Like everybody to Conor McGregor and everybody else has been rolling with the robot. And,
Oh, wow. So all the big MMA fighters
yeah.
utilizing
So
the tech. Cool.
yeah, so Sam will be here to compete with Paulo and also bring a robot for a demo. And so some of the kids and some of the adults will be doing demos on
Oh,
stage.
that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I've rolled with the robot here at the gym last time Sam was in town, and it's amazing. I could say for myself, there's nothing like it.
Awesome. Well, that's interesting. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, people. I mean, this thing took
Today's
flight.
program is brought to you in part by your friends at
Whoa. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I lost
Yeah,
you.
that's okay. This event took on a life of its own. It really just thinking of Sam showing up with robot. We have competitors from the highest level of the California competition circuit
Oh,
that
wow.
I've reached out. So it's going to be some amazing matches. A lot, from all the different types, all the different teams from 10th Planet, Carlson Gracie, everybody, Dave Terrell, all the top teams. So it's going to be really just a night of high level submission grappling.
Wow. And then you have the kids fighting too, yeah? Or
Yeah, we have a few kids
matches?
fighting.
Mhm.
We do.
Let's
We have
give them a shout out so they can
okay.
up for
Well,
the
yeah. We only have a few kids matches. We wanted to keep this event to a timeline that was going to work for everybody. To be a fun, action-packed event that didn't go on and on and on. Like some of our tournaments would be from 9 a.m. till 7 p.m, and then again the next day. This is going to be just doors at 5. First match will start around 5:45, and we should be wrapped up by 10. And have
digestible, yeah.
Yeah, and then the musicians are gonna perform in between matches during the main event hours, and also do a whole dance party set at the end. So everybody in the crowd has a nice time to party and dance and hang out and meet the fighters, and also the fighters all have some time to kind of blow off some, let the dust settle and come back to reality and shake it out.
Right. So it's not like your typical MMA grappling event. It's got a lot more depth to it.
It's got a lot of depth. It's got all the way to. We were concerned about the timing being from 5 to 10, and having that is dinner time. And now here's my old man vote comes into play. I start thinking, it's dinner. Those are dinner hours.
Food, man.
How are we gonna do this? And the theater will have their bar open, so some people will be drinking, and I know people are better behaved with a full belly, and it's just a good idea to eat during dinner hours, and so I don't know if you know this kind of a special announcement. Drum roll. Our wonderful, just most amazing friends at Izakaya Gama are doing food for the event.
Oh, that's perfect pairing.
It is perfect pairing. They're doing a specialized menu for it. They're doing poke, and so there'll be poke bowl. You can get poke bowl there from Gama. They're doing some of their meat skewers and a few other items that they've created for the event specifically. And they got us set up. There's going to be a booth in the lobby there where you can order and pick up, and it's pretty awesome. I'm stoked.
That's really cool. And it's nice too for a lot of people from this end of the coast that haven't gone down there to try their restaurant because it's, only open on certain days. So now you get entertainment You can dance it off. You can eat. You can have a cocktail if you want. It's everything right there at the Point Arena Theater.
It's happening. It's going down. It's going down. Yeah, super excited.
Very.
Yeah. And the kids, so of course, my daughter, Poppy,
Poppy's how old now?
she's gonna be 9 the week after the event.
Very cool.
So she's about to turn 9. She is just such a, she's just grown up on the mats doing kickboxing, jiu-jitsu. She's homeschooled, so we have a lot of time, with the animals. She's bought her own quad, her own 4-wheeler, and she saved her money and worked that deal out. And she's and then she's been doing ballet her whole time, and she's discovered street dancing. And so we go Tuesdays, we drive to Ukiah, and she's enrolled in a dance academy, performing arts academy out there. Space. It's a place.
You told me about that. That's cool.
I had no idea the place existed. They've been there for 30 years. They're unbelievable. It's the most incredible spot, and yeah, it's a drive and all that, but whatever, it's we gotta provide the opportunities.
And who's Poppy grappling with?
She's got a young man from my professor's school and headquarters in Dixon. And we get together often, a few times a year. We'll have like all the campuses all gather, usually here in Point Arena, sometimes out there in Sacramento, Dixon, Vacaville, Fairfield. But those are all our sister academies. And so these kids have grown up knowing each other, and there's a young man, Noah, who is just the cutest, sweetest thing on earth. I think there might be a little bit of a crush going there, one direction or the other. I'm not positive, but they had a match months back, and Poppy was able to come out on top of that one, and so Noah wants a rematch.
No, it's the rematch. That's
going down.
Very exciting. And what other kiddos do we have going?
So the rest of the kids, we have featured kids matches, and these are some of these kids are good. These kids are like when we watch them. I sent videos to some of my professors in Brazil, and they're like, wow, next level. These kids are the future. They're
Indigo kiddos.
Yeah, very, 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 very talented kids. I was talking with one of the fathers about it, and he said, this is a 9-year-old boy, and he said, that he saves his allowance, saves his money, and buys instructional videos to watch to learn more. And he's just like all he does, just dedicated. So they're really talented youngsters, and those are going to be amazing. So there's a few featured high-level kids matches that'll be really fun to watch, and I'm really excited to be able to they're just the greatest kids,
And they're local kids.
They're local kids. 2 of them are coming from a new academy out in Kelseyville.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great school. I was out there week before. And they're just awesome. It's 2 families that went out and opened the school on their own, and they're very similar to what we're doing. They're raising their kids on the mats, homeschooled family too, and so their kids are growing up at the dojo, and they're just really great. They started coming out here and visiting and training out here on our Sunday program, our Sunday classes, and since we've gotten to know each other and spending time together, we've developed a partnership, and Yeah, they're affiliating with our school. So that's really great. We're super excited about that. It's just, they're on the same, they have the same mentality, same goals. They're there for the same reason. They're really providing something special for their community, and they're really dedicated. The kids want to compete all the time, and so that means parents and coaches are driving and traveling. Tournaments are. It's very rare that we have a tournament here.
Mhm.
There hasn't been one on the coast ever. Um, and so, for any of the Mendocino County people that want to compete, and there's lots of them, it's typically a drive to at least San Jose, Sacramento,
Right.
San Francisco, and they're always, the kids matches start at 8 in the morning.
Mhm.
So, you would typically have to drive down the night before, and then, stay hotel, all that. And then you have the matches, and then the competitions are usually 2 days. So now you're staying again. And if
Right.
you have adults competing, the adults are at the end. So then all of a sudden, if you do well, you've got people to coach at 7, 8 o'clock at night on Sunday, and
It's
you
a
either drive
lot. Yeah.
late or staying again. So it's a lot of work to compete. And that was the other really motivating factor about doing something here is
Right.
giving our locals, the chance to stay home and compete, and have it be a little less stress on them. And also, for all of you, if you wanted to watch these guys, if any of your friends or family compete, it would be a travel situation as well. And so now we're bringing it home. We're bringing it to you. It's going to be here, and convenient and available for everybody, just to come sit down, enjoy themselves, and have a good time.
I think it's going to be really super fun. So, just to remind people, we're on our last few minutes here that this is the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu competition, and
Mhm.
it's at the Point Arena Theater. That is Saturday night, correct?
That's Saturday night.
This Saturday starts at 5 p.m., runs till 10. There's going to be fabulous Japanese food there and dancing. We got Selector Science. Those of you that don't know Selector Science, he's also local, Ian. But where I first learned about Ian was in San Francisco. I was
Yeah.
in Asana and I was like, wow, who's this music? This is great. They're like, oh, it's Selector Science. I was like, I think that's my friend Ian. And then we got Tropicali group playing they're performing live as well.
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yep.
We got one more minute. Anything else you want to tell people? How to get tickets, how to learn more?
Yeah, tickets are online. You could go to, if you're on Instagram, it'll be at the Team Alpha BJJ Point Arena, be up in the bio. Also, the events profile is G3 Millennium. You can find them there. There's flyers around town, and they have a barcode on them. And there's that you can scan and buy tickets. Those flyers are at GBS. They're all around town, but they're at the checkout, at the actual counter at GBS, and at the arena market, and on the front door at the theater. So you could scan and buy tickets that way. You can ask your friends. We've been emailing and texting the link around to try to
Great.
share and
You're
get everywhere.
listening to KGUA in
Hold
Walla.
on. That's
88.
Yep.
that's almost our time. So I'm
Great.
gonna let you go and we'll catch up with you very soon.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
You're listening to 88.3 KGUA. This is Seve Cardosi here. That was Peggy's Place with Prometheus Glover. And we hope to see you this Saturday. I will add a link to northcoastlink.com on the front page so you can get tickets a little bit easier if you don't happen to come across any of those posters. Well, we're going to take you on now to Native American Calling. Hope it's a great morning for you.